So let's start today's yoga practice in child's pose. So listen, if you're like a seasoned practitioner or if you've never practiced yoga, it's all good. I've got your back. Okay, we're gonna just make this practice approachable and appropriate for whatever level you're at. So in child's pose, it's nice to have the knees a little wide. The big toes can touch. I don't care if your toes are pointed or curled under. Your hips settle back toward your heels or on your heels, and your forehead rests. If it doesn't comfortably rest on the floor, you can take it onto your hands like a little pillow. If you have a pillow or a block or something that you want to use here, please feel free to grab it and use it. And if it's too much of a bend in your knees, feel free to lift your hips quite high, right? Whatever shape you want to begin is perfect. So allow yourself just to land in the shape, right? Whatever shape you've chosen. And sometimes it might feel nice to kind of rock the forehead side to side, loosening up the neck, and just feeling into the spine, the back body here. It's a pretty deep flexion for the knees and hips, so make sure it feels okay. And again, just give yourself a little time to settle in, to settle down, and just to arrive. Right? It takes a little time to arrive. And typically we're racing around, at least mentally, sometimes physically as well. And although the physical body is now in somewhat stillness, the mind is probably still very active. So use your breath here just to help settle the mind. Right? So long, smooth breaths in and out through your nose. You don't need to look at me, right? Close your eyes and just look inward and notice what feels good, what feels a little restricted. And just see if the breath can almost travel into those tight places in your body and just sort of loosen them up, right? And imagine that you can even carry the breath into the back side of the body. So as you inhale, you can feel the backs of the ribs sort of expand, and maybe even into the low back if that feels tight. And then there's a softening, a letting go on the exhale. And if this starts to get uncomfortable, that's okay. See if you can take just a few more breaths and breathe through it. But obviously, if there's any pain, you're going to readjust the shape. We never want pain. That old adage, no pain, no gain, has no place in your yoga practice. Allow your shoulders to settle and soften, your face muscles to relax. And we'll just take one more nice deep breath in. You can open the lips and let this one go. And feel into that softness and that emptiness. And then when you're ready, just take your hands forward and spread out your fingers quite wide. And for a moment, just press the hands sort of forward against the earth to pull the hip creases back even more. So the elbows can lift, the arms can straighten. See if you can root into the inner and outer edges of the hands a bit so you wake up the arms. You just notice how that feels. You can lift the head, but the gaze is still down. See if the inner arms can almost spiral up, so there's a broadening there into the upper back. And then on your next inhale, gently pull against the floor to come up to hands and knees. All right, take the knees a little closer now if they were wide beneath the hips, and maybe your hips were above the knees the whole time. It's all good. And hands are still flat on the mat, and we're just in this like tabletop shape, right? And then see if you can sort of align things, right? Your head, your heart, and your hips are all in one nice long line there. So the belly's not dropping, the hips aren't splaying up, the head isn't dropping, and just look straight down at the floor. So you're starting to feel that alignment, as if your back body is against the ceiling or flipped upside down against the floor. And then draw the navel in and just feel that support of your core. And draw the shoulders down away from your ears and feel the neck free. You can turn the head side to side if that's nice. Hands are rooted. Breath is always flowing smoothly and evenly just to keep you present, to help you notice whatever you need here. And then we're just gently going to take the left toes to the back of the yoga mat. So I want you just to press into the ball of the foot there and draw the heel back away from the crown of the head. So the gaze is still down. And then imagine you could wake up that left leg, right? So you're sort of hugging the muscles of that left leg onto the bone. The right knee's still on the floor. Keep hugging the belly in, lengthen the heel and head away. If you want to sort of rock a little on the toes there, on the ball of the foot, just to wake up the calf and the arch of the foot, I like to do that. Sometimes that feels nice. And then we're just going to pivot that left inner heel down and float the left hand up. So that right hand is still rooted, grounded against the floor. Fingers are kind of spread. Now, the tendency here is for the right shoulder to kind of hug up to the ear. Can you draw the right bottom shoulder down, down, down away from that ear and lift the left hand. Left fingers are spread, right fingers are spread. So there's still this energy through the arms. And then hug the belly in and find that alignment, head, heart, and hips, all the way back to the heel, sealing the pinky edge of the back foot against the floor. All right, let's take a little movement here with this left lifted arm. Circle it back, down, forward, and up a couple times, as slowly as you like, as if the arm is moving through water. And I like to turn my head around a little too, so you kind of loosen up the left side of the neck. So just some organic movement here so we're not so rigid. Good. And then left hand floats back up on an inhale. Left foot really hugs the floor there. And then circle it back into the mat. So now both hands are back down beneath the shoulders. We're just going to pivot that back left heel up and really root into the ball of the foot. Hug the left muscles onto the bone and hug that belly up to the spine. And then as you exhale, see if this right knee that's on the floor can just hover off the floor. And feel that. So both arms are working, the face muscles are soft, and the breath is flowing. One more inhale, you're just hovering the knee up. Set it down as you exhale, pause, and float the left foot up off the floor. Toes are pointed down, so see if the inner thigh can roll up, the pinky toe can point to the floor, and then root into your left hand and take the right hand, reach it out in front of you like you want to shake someone's hand, so the thumb spins up. And then notice if you sort of lost that connection with the core muscles. So belly hugs in and there's length through the lifted limbs. That bottom now left shoulder slides away from the ear and the breath is flowing. Right? So you're not forcing or jamming or trying to reach as far as you can, but you're just enjoying the length. Good. One more breath in and hand and knee to the floor as you exhale. All right, let's just cat-cow here. So belly's going to drop, shoulders roll back, gaze comes forward as you inhale. So you're just sort of freeing things up. Round in as you exhale, drop the head, pull the belly in, dome your back. And then do it again. Inhale, shoulders loop back, heart and gaze come forward. And exhale, round in, open the shoulder blades. Get that nice spread through the low back. And then a neutral spine, a flat back. All right, we're going to do it all on the other side. So right toes to the back of the mat. All right, root into the ball of that foot. You can, again, kind of rock forward and back if you like on the heel for a moment. So you wake up the calf. Hug those muscles onto the bone for a moment. Draw the belly in. Find that length from heel to head. Shoulders down the back. Breath in that flow. Nice, you guys. We'll pivot the right foot down. That inner heel is going to drop. We'll float the right hand up. Spread the right fingers, spread the left fingers. Draw the bottom left shoulder down the back and find that length from heel to head, right? Hug the right leg muscles onto the bone. Seal the pinky edge of that back foot. Neck is in line with the spine. Your head's not dropping. Good, and then we'll circle around this right arm as if you're moving it through water. So it's a nicer rotation for the shoulder to first take the hand back, down, forward, and up. Is just a safer way to circle around, moving the head any way that feels good. So I'm going to invite you to take organic movements into these shapes anytime you want. I don't even have to suggest them. One big inhale, hand lifts. Circle it back into the floor on your exhale. Pivot the right heel up. And then, oh, I think I forgot the hovering, so sorry. Engage those right leg muscles onto the bone. We can do it now, it doesn't matter. Pull the belly in, and on your exhale, hover. Oh, maybe we did it at this point. The left knee off the floor. I think we did. All right, so keep breathing. Both hands pressing, shoulders down the back, belly hugging in, right thigh engaged. You can hover it an inch. You can have already set it down. I don't care. What would you need? When you're ready, let that left knee return to the floor and float the right foot off the floor, that back foot. Good. Reach the heel back, pivot the pinky toe down, root into the right hand, take your left hand forward, thumb up. Good, so the tendency here is sort of to dump into the low back, right? You don't want the belly to just drop. Hug the belly in. Feel into that length you can create through the lifted limbs. But more importantly, can you keep your breath long and smooth? And if you can't, it usually means that you've gone a little too far physically, so you just back off a little so you stay calm. One more inhale, and release back to hands and knees. Tabletop position, we'll cat-cow again. Inhale, belly drop, shoulders come back, gaze can come forward. And round the back as you exhale. You can gaze back between the legs. Inhale again, heart forward, collarbones really nice and wide. And rounding on your exhale. If you want to add in any swivels with the head or hips, go for it. Take an extra breath to do anything that you like. All right, we're all different, so bringing organic movement into your poses can be really sweet and healing. It helps you just get to know yourself and your needs. All right, so from here, you guys, we're going to curl the toes under. Right, so you're kind of on the bottoms of the toes there. Hands are rooted and spread. Hug the belly in, and now we're going to hover both knees off the floor. Just an inch or 2 or 3, whatever you like. And just feel what's going on there. Can the breath stay steady and smooth? And then we'll slowly start to lift the hips and straighten the knees toward downward facing dog. And then feel free here in your first down dog to pedal the knees, right? Bend one knee at a time. Feel free to take the feet wider or closer or farther back. Find your downward dog shape just right now. Doesn't have to be how it always looks. Doesn't have to be anything special. The knees can be bent, whatever you need, but let the head dangle. Make sure the heels disappear when you look back at the feet so they're not out or in, right? And just feel into the shape. The hips are lifting, the head is hanging, the breath is flowing, the hands are spread and pressing the floor away. Enjoy the length, enjoy the strength, enjoy the softness. Enjoy your practice, right? What can you do to make it more enjoyable? And that might even mean dropping your knees back down and taking child's pose. When you're ready, lift your heels off the floor. Bend both knees, pull the hips back away from the hands, pressing forward. Look to the hands as you inhale. And then just walk up to the front of your yoga mat as you exhale. Let the hands float up to the legs. Inhale, lift the heart away from the floor. Come into that flat back, head, heart, and hips in one line. And then fold in half as you exhale, bending the knees as much as you need so the fingertips graze the floor. Let your head dangle. Again, if you want to pedal out the knees here, feel free. And with the head hanging and the knees a little bent, just take your hands to your 2 hips. Now, if you have a tender low back, I'm going to invite you to take your hands to the tops of your thigh bones instead. And just lift the heart away from the floor. So you're returning to the flat back. Draw the shoulders and elbows back. Again, hands can be on the thighs here to help support the low back. Belly hugs in. And with the knees a little bent, we're just going to press and hinge up towards standing and then start to straighten your legs and let your arms drop by your sides. All right, here we are standing tall, steady, and supported by our own 2 feet. Let your palms spin forward. Feel into that alignment again. Head over heart and heart over hips and hips over heels, right? We tend to be like this, head jutting forward. Draw the head back a little bit. Pull the belly in a little bit for that support. Press evenly into your 2 feet. And then on your next inhale, reach up with the hands. Maybe look up if it feels nice. And fold forward as you exhale. Bending the knees, lengthening the spine, dropping your heavy head. Come to the flat back on your inhale. Hands can float up anywhere on the legs that's comfortable. And now hands back onto the floor, and we'll step all the way back with both feet, plank pose. Please feel free to drop your knees here if that's sweeter for you. Otherwise, knees are lifted, thighs are engaged. There's that line from heels to hips to head, so the back of the head is kind of lifting. The fingers are spreading, the inner arms are rolling forward. I like to drop my knees, particularly for the first one, to lower down. So take an inhale with knees down or not, and we'll lower to our bellies on the exhale. And then just pause and point your toes, pressing into the top of the feet. Draw the elbows and shoulders back as if you're pulling the hands back against the floor. And we'll gently lift the heart to a baby cobra pose. Inhaling. Rolling down as you exhale. Just one more time. Inhale up to your cobra, collarbones wide. And we're going to go child's pose on the exhale. So onto the knees, hips back toward the heels or above the knees. Again, whatever you need, forehead resting, breath flowing. Let's extend the arms forward, spread the fingers, and pull yourself back up to hands and knees. So good. Curling the toes under, we're going to start to move a little bit more quickly now. Hover the knees off the floor, pause, take a breath. Make your way to the downward dog as you exhale. Lift your heels, bend your knees. Inhale, look to the hands. Walk up there as you exhale, no rush. Flatten the back on your inhale, hands can float up wherever supportive. Fold in half as you exhale, drop your head. With bent knees and a flat back, rise all the way up to standing on your inhale. Reach up, maybe lean back, and fold forward, exhale. All right, we're just gonna start a little flow. Flat back on the inhale, hands to the thighs or shins or floor. Plank pose, exhale, stepping back. Take an inhale when you get there, dropping the knees or not. Lower safely as you exhale. Press into the tops of the feet, cobra pose. Inhale, hands pull back, heart lifts. Downward dog this time, exhale. So we just want a little blood flowing, a little circulation, helping to warm things up and loosen things up. And keep the breath smooth and even if you can. It might be a little faster here, that's okay. We'll lift the heels and bend the knees, looking forward on the inhale. And we'll walk to the front of the mat through the exhale. Flat back as your inhale, heart lifts, spine lengthens, folding into your exhale. All right, so bend the knees a little bit here, and we're just going to take a big step back with the left foot, okay? And make sure the right knee's over the right heel, and then we're going to drop the left knee down to the floor at a diagonal there, right? So the back toes can curl under or the top of the foot can press, which is sometimes helpful. And then we'll take the right hand on top of the right thigh here, looking forward. On your inhale, left hand floats up. Good, and then let your hips sort of dip into the floor as you lift that left hand up, drop the right shoulder, and just lean over toward the right side of your mat. So you're getting a nice little opening from left knee to left pinky finger. Breathe. Draw your belly in a little to support that low back. And then coming straight forward, inhale, both hands lift if that feels okay. And then hands to the floor as you exhale, please pause. Curl the back toes under, lift the back knee, and then float the right hand back and up. So you're just in a wide open twist here, yeah? Don't worry about how it looks. How does it feel? Is there length from hand to hand? Is there length from back heel to head? Is that right foot pressed evenly into the floor? Take one big breath, and then right hand circles back and down. Looking forward, you can rock onto the back foot a little bit, step to the front of your mat through an exhale. Lift the heart, inhale, flat back, get that length in the spine. Fold as you exhale, fingertips on the floor, heavy head, bend, let the left knee, and we'll take a big step back with the right foot. And then drop that back knee down, right? So it's at a diagonal back there. Toes curled or top of the foot pressing either way. Left hand to the left thigh, kind of have to know left and right for yoga, don't you? Right hand floats up. And just feel into it. Maybe the hips dip, maybe it's too much and you want to lift them. Just find enough sensation that you can enjoy. That's not too much. You're going to lean to the left, dropping that left shoulder. It should feel nice if you don't go too far, right? And then we'll look forward, hug the belly in, and let both arms float up on an inhale. And hands back down as you exhale. Good. Back toes curl under, back knee lifts. And then left hand back and up. So you're in this wide open twist, right? Lengthening from hand to hand, lengthening from heel to head, and rooting into the whole left foot. So even that big toe mound pressing against the floor. Back leg can be nice and strong if you want it. If you prefer the knee down, it's fine. One inhale here, and left hand back to the earth, rocking on the back foot if you want, stepping to the front of your mat through an exhale. Good. Inhale to your flat back, and exhale, fold in half. All right, let's pause, let the head dangle, bending the knees as much as you need. And then feet just beneath the hips there. So not very far apart, but not touching. We're going to start to bend the knees. Lift all 10 toes off the floor so the weight shifts into the heels. And with the fingertips on the floor, you can almost use that leverage to lengthen the spine, right? So the hips are dipping back, the heart is lengthening forward, the neck is in line with that spine. So option here is to take your hands to your two thighs, the tops of the thighs if your low back is tender, or hands to the hips like we practiced earlier, and elbows roll back. Good. Bend the knees a little more, all 10 toes are lifted. We're gonna come up to the chair pose on an inhale, so just pitch up, heart lifts, hips dip, hands can come to the thighs. You can always change your mind midway, right? Like, oh, that might be a little much. Okay, give me a little support. Beautiful. We all need a little support, right? The earth, the world is not so kind these days, so where can you offer more support to yourself in your practice? Such a beautiful thing to do. Sink low, maybe on an inhale you reach up, and then we'll stand up on the exhale. We'll take our hands to our heart in prayer pose and take a moment just to be grateful for your practice, for this time you've taken for yourself, for your ability to feel into your body, which helps you to get out of your mind, out of your thoughts, and just be here, right? It's so beautiful just to bring that awareness inward. It's so healing, right? We all need attention. Our bodies too. All right, so we're gonna do a little balancing, a little fun balancing, hopefully. So I'm wearing this funny little shrug, which I think is really fun, but it's a little awkward. Okay, so both feet root against the floor, sorry. A little clothing adjustment if you need to. Again, any organic movement, right? We're gonna bring all the weight into the right foot here. So on your next exhale, just bend your left knee, lift it up, yeah? And the right foot's really rooted. So listen, if you feel like your low back is tender today, I'm going to invite you to take your hands beneath your left leg and let the leg sort of fall against the fingers interlace there. And that'll help actually the shoulders drop away from the ears. Or hands on your two hips, right? Either way, it's all good. If you can, extend your left leg forward. So the leg is long, the toes are flexed and spread. The tendency here is to lean back, right? Can you instead keep that alignment of head over the standing heel? It's not easy to lift this leg. You're going to wake up this hip flexor, the psoas muscle. If the hands are under the leg, it's going to help a little bit, right? Maybe not enough, so maybe the knee stays a little bent. All good. If you want, arms can lift up on an inhale. And then we're going to bend the knee, pull it into the chest as you exhale. You can be holding it and pulling it in, or the arms can still be reaching up. Good. And then we're going to take our hands back to our two hips. And we're just going to hinge forward at the waist, keeping that left knee bent to start. You can bend the standing leg if you like, and extend the left foot straight back as the heart and head come forward. So find a little bend in the standing leg if you need to. Feel for lengthening the lifted heel away from the head. Again, hands can stay on the hips, Whoops. Or both hands can come to the top of that right thigh for that support for your low back. If you feel like you want a little more, feel free to reach the arms forward away from the lifted heel. Your choice. How about just one more breath? Whichever choice you made is perfect. And then fingers come to the floor. So that might mean the standing leg bends quite a lot. No worries. Drop your head. Keep that left foot up for a moment. And then bend the lifted knee and take the left foot down. Inhale to a flat back, heart lifts. And exhale, fold forward. Drop your head. We're going to come back through the chair. We'll do it a little faster this time now that the body knows what to do. So bending the knees, dipping the hips, lifting all 10 toes. Little leverage with the fingers against the floor to lengthen your spine. Most importantly, the breath is flowing. I know it's a little challenging. Sinking. Maybe hands to your two hips. Maybe hands on top of your thighs this time. Start to hinge up with the head and heart. You're still in the chair pose. Hands on thighs, hips, or maybe hands lifting. Sinking low. Take an inhale. Press up to standing. Exhale, hands back to your heart. Can you be grateful for the challenge? It's in the challenges that we tend to learn and grow, right? Things were always so easy, there wouldn't be as much growth. I guess this is a time in the world for a lot of growth, a lot of self-discovery. There's always a silver lining if you look for it. All right, we're going to root into that left foot. When you're ready, on an exhale, right knee lifts. Again, you can take the hands beneath the thigh, let the weight of the leg help the shoulders drop. Keep rooting the left foot. Maybe hands are on hips, your choice. Right leg forward, extend the foot out, flex the foot. Toes are going to spread, which is going to help to activate all the leg muscles. Try not to lean back. Keep the head over the standing heel. Remember, the hands can be under the leg, on your hips. Maybe you want to even lift them. Anything organic you want to add, you can add, dropping out early and coming back, whatever you need. How about one more breath? We'll bend the left knee on the exhale. You can hug it in if that's nice. Hands back to your two hips as you hinge forward and extend that right heel straight back. It helps to look a little bit forward rather than straight down. So there's still that length through the heart. Remember, if hands are on hips, your elbows can come back. If hands are on that standing left thigh, it's going to help support your low back. Can you keep the breath smooth? The face soft? And that right heel lengthening back. Maybe you want to reach forward. Whatever you want is perfect. One more inhale, that's all. Fingers to the floor. Exhale, drop your head. Keep the right foot lifted just for a moment. And then bend the right lifted knee and take the right foot onto the floor. Whew, flat back. Inhale, heart lifts. Get that beautiful length through your spine. Fold forward, exhale. All right, fingertips on the floor. Bend your knees. And we're just going to pivot the heels and toes out until the toes are wider than the heels. And we're going to squat right down between the two legs, taking your hands together at prayer pose in front of your heart. So let your tailbone reach down, let the top of the head lengthen upward, and again, just find some kind of alignment there, if you can, from head to hips. The outer arms can kind of coax the knees apart, the collarbones can widen. Feel free to do whatever's comfortable here with your neck, with your head, and feel your breath. Ideally, the heels are still on the mat, but if yours aren't, don't worry about it. It's fine. Let your right hand come out to the right, fingertips on the floor, coaxing that right knee open a little bit. Left hand can lift up, and just spread through your hands. Spread the palms and fingers, maybe look hand to hand. If you want to turn the head, take a big breath. And hands back to your heart as you exhale. So as the hands press together and down, it helps to create more length through the spine. Feel into that. Good. And then left hand out to the left, coaxing that left knee out if you can. And right hand reaches up. Right, so you're just opening across the heart, making it feel nice. Feel free to turn the head. Feel free to spin the palms. Whatever you want, add it into your practice. And when you're ready, hands back to your heart. Good. Hands pressed together and down. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Take a breath. And then fingertips are going to come back to the floor. We're going to straighten our two legs, lifting the hips, and we're going to pivot the heels out. So see if the outer edges of the feet can maybe graze the side edges of your mat there, so you have a really nice wide distance from foot to foot, and then you're just going to drop your heavy head. You can sway a little with the torso. You can take the hands behind you, hooking the thumbs together or interlacing the fingers together. You can roll around the head, so we're just freeing up the neck. For a lot of us, myself included, we carry a lot of tension in that neck, yeah? And sometimes when we work on balancing, we get rigid and we just habitually pull tension up into the neck because it's what we do all day long. So this should be a nice release. Feel free to lift the hands off the back, let them drop to the low back. Whatever feels nice with your head, with your shoulders, with your neck, just allow your head to hang heavy here for a breath. Good, and then we'll release the hands to the floor, and we'll step all the way back to a final plank pose. Pressing the earth away, drawing the belly in, take your inhale. Knees down or not, lower to your belly as you exhale. Roll up to a gentle cobra on your inhale. And downward facing dog, exhale. Beautiful. If you want to pedal out the knees here again, pedal out the knees here again. Feel how it feels. Head dangles, hands press and spread, inner arms forward, heels disappearing, breath flowing. Good, take a nice deep breath. And then release both knees to the floor. Ah, good job. Crawl the knees toward the front of your yoga mat and cross the ankles to come onto your back or side saddle over. We're going to be on our backs now, so make your way onto your back. Hug the knees into the chest if you like when you get there. That's usually my go-to as soon as we get on our backs. So the head is resting, the floor is now helping to find that alignment for your spine. And it's so good just to lay on a hard surface every day, you guys. The earth really helps us to create that alignment in the spine. All right, let's take both feet onto the floor here. And then let's see how much time we have. Yeah, let's draw the right knee into the chest and then lift the right foot up to the ceiling. So take your hands behind that right leg if you can, interlacing the fingers, and just kind of press the leg against the hands for a moment. And then that bottom left leg, can you lengthen it out onto the floor? So let that left leg just rest out nice and long and heavy. Don't have to activate it in any way. And then slowly start to draw that right leg that you're holding onto there toward you. So it might be a little, it might be a lot. You might need to bend the knee. My right hamstring is wicked tight. So shoulders snuggle down away from the ears, chin a little to the chest so the spine is in line. You can roll around this right foot at the ankle because we did that standing work and that might feel nice. And then just one more inhale here. Heel reaches up a bit and pull the knee into the chest, bending it as you exhale. Good. Hold it with the left hand. Open your right arm out to the right on your inhale. Look to the right hand if you want. And guide your right knee all the way over to the left on your exhale. So it's just a nice, easy, open twist, right? It's okay if the right shoulder lifts. It's okay if the right foot or knee doesn't touch down. Just allow yourself now to relax into this shape without trying to hold anything or force anything. Use those long, deep, sweet breaths just to help you soften and settle in. Sometimes on the inhale, we notice more sensation, right? Where does the breath want to flow to? And on the exhale, it's often a little sweeter, a little easier just to let go. When you're ready, carry that right knee back up to center. Give it a little hug. Good. And then take both knees in. Maybe a little rock side to side. Good. And then right foot is going to come onto the floor with the knee bent to start. Left foot's going to lift up to the ceiling or sky if you're lucky enough to be practicing outdoors. Shoulders snuggle down as you press the leg against the interlaced fingers, right? Chin a little to the chest. You can roll around this lifted foot and just notice how the hamstring is feeling there. And then start to draw the leg toward you, right? So you get a nice little stretch in the back of that leg. As much as you like. There's no right or wrong. Notice if you're frustrated because there's tightness, or really happy if it feels really free. And just see if you can find a steadiness, a lack of attachment or clinging or resisting to what is. Right? It doesn't matter. Maybe that right leg could go out nice and long. I guess I forgot to say that. So let that right leg go out nice and long and heavy. Allow yourself to settle into this shape for a moment with the breath. And then when you're ready, bend the lifted leg. Good. Hold the left shin or knee with the right hand, left arm out to the left. And on your exhale, guide the left knee over to the right. So there's no right or wrong about which way you turn your head. If you want your neck involved in the twist, you'll look to the left and then maybe close your eyes. If that's not comfortable for your neck, let the head turn whatever way it wants to. Notice if you're holding or resisting or judging anything, and let it all go. Use your breath. Just tune into the sensations of the breath, the deepness of the breath, the softness of those exhales. When you're ready, let your left knee come back up. You can use your right hand to draw it back up and in. And we'll take both knees back into the chest for a moment. A little side to side rock if that's nice. Good. And then let's take both feet onto the floor here and wiggle the feet together so the soles of the feet are going to touch, the knees are going to splay apart. And take a hand onto your heart and a hand onto your belly. And close your eyes, let your shoulders relax. Separate your top and bottom teeth. And feel the breath. Notice if only the upper hand is rising and falling with the breath, and see if you can begin to direct the breath into the bottom hand as well, so the belly as well fills up with your inhale and naturally softens back with the exhale. And the next time that you exhale, hug the belly toward the earth to help bring the knees back up. Good. When the knees touch, you're just going to wiggle the feet apart so the pinky edges of the feet again are sort of grazing the sides of your yoga mat and the inner knees are knocking. And then we're just going to open our arms out nice and wide, straight or elbows bent, whatever feels good. And let both knees go over to the left. So we work that psoas muscle. This should be a nice little release for it, this hip flexor. And again, the gaze can turn opposite to the knees, or the nose rather. You can close your eyes, or whichever way feels most comfortable for the neck. And we'll just take a big, sweet inhale, letting that belly fill. You can sigh it out. Let yourself soften and settle in, and then hug the belly in to help the knees come back up safely. Beautiful. Knees can knock. Feet are still out nice and wide. They haven't changed position. And then knees over to the other side, to the right. Maybe the nose turns to the left. Maybe not. No right or wrong. Feel the breath. Feel the shape. See if your awareness can stay settled in your body. There's enough sensations to keep you present and tuned in, even when the mind wants to take you away. And then let your belly fill and swell with that next inhale. Sigh it out if you like. And when you're empty, hug the belly in to lift the knees up safely. And then when the knees come back up, just bring the feet beneath the knees. Just heel toe them in if you like. And then both knees into your chest. If you want to last maybe happy baby shape here, or wide legs, whatever you like, or just knees to the chest and maybe circling the knees in both directions. So yogi's choice. What would your body like right now? It's just an opportunity to make a wise choice for yourself, because we're going to be in Shavasana. If you want, you can give yourself a little hug and a squeeze and some appreciation and love. Take a big inhale to seal it and hold it and fill with it. And then let it all go. Shavasana time. Yay. Feel free to take the legs out long. Let them rest heavy. You can sort of flop the feet side to side. You can slide the shoulder blades down. You can rock the head side to side. So you get any fidgeting out of the way. And then allow yourself to land. And just arrive back here in your body, on the earth, supported, steady, still. Feel if you can let go of your body and just soften it, because it has that support of the earth beneath it now. You don't have to hold up from gravity. Separate the top and bottom teeth so there's no tension in your jaw. Let your eyes softly close. And imagine that all the muscles behind your eyes, around your eyes, can soften. As the eyes soften and all those muscles that work constantly when our eyes are open. Allow that softness just to travel all around your skull, into the ears and jaw and throat and heart. And feel into your tender heart for a moment. All that juicy, soft, liquid blood that it pumps throughout your body. Can you feel some self-love and appreciation and gratitude? And imagine that each time your heart beats, it's just sending those beautiful feelings of love and gratitude and compassion and love all throughout your body. There's nothing you need to do, but simply rest now, relax into it. Appreciate yourself, this earth that supports you, this body that carries you through life, these breaths that keep you alive, and this healthy mind that makes wise choices. And just settle into that. Relax into that. Give yourself another minute or so just to be right here, right now, without doing or moving or projecting. Just feeling how soft your body, your mind, and your breath can become. invite you to stay just as you are. If you want to just rest and rejuvenate and absorb all this goodness a little bit longer. If you're ready to move on with your day, gently bring some movement back into your body and come back up.